Do I believe in it? I kind of think so, but my reasoning for believing in it is the Native Americans saw it first. And I kind of feel like the Native Americans understood these things better than we do, because we're like, let's build a big building. Let's build a shopping center. And like the Native Americans were like, let's build a tent. Now let's go smoke a peace pipe.
Lie about shit just to be funny. Like, I would lie about some shit to be funny in a heartbeat. I'd be like, hey, Ryan, dress up like a chicken, and I'm going to tell Twitter that I sound like a chicken, man. And we're going to see what happens. I feel like Indian people are better than that. They would never fucking do that. I would do it in a heartbeat. No, I want to do it.
Yeah, I was going to say, with your crew, the only question is like, they would get in a near fist fight over, no, I want to be the chicken. No, I...
Let's take turns being the chicken.
It's my turn, darn it.
Everywhere in Greenville, like all year. We'll be the chicken of 2020. One of us has to be the chicken, and one of us has to be the person saying that chickens aren't real. Chickens aren't real.
Now, there was a show that was briefly on Animal Planet, that channel, right? That called Lost Tapes.
Oh yeah, we went over that when I searched up the owl.
The Owl Man of Cornwall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, and you can find it on YouTube. It's a great little watch. The idea of this show is these lost footage of various cryptids that people found. Now, mind you, none of it's true. None of it ever happened. None of it's true. A few of the sightings are based on things that happened, but none of the sightings happened as they reported. It's just this. It was a fictional show that people thought was real for a minute, but I was quite impressed with its Thunderbird episode, and they did have a Thunderbird episode. So, and it's worth it to see, but it's not the South Carolina Thunderbird. This is a big eagle, and it like picks up a little kid. But watch it if you want, or not. You know, if you don't watch it, you're not out anything really.
Wait. So this episode is supposed to be the Thunderbird, but really it's an eagle that picks up a kid.
Well, like I said, the Thunderbird is usually described as...
What video do you see? Is it an eagle picking up a real kid, or is the whole thing fake?
No, all of it's fake. It's reenacted.
The show Lost Tapes is all fake.
So there is no kid got picked up by anything? Okay.
Well, you know, probably a stagehand. That's about it. So, Laura apologizes. She had to step out to go grab the kid from debate tournament. So,
well, if she's not back before we end, tell her to message us again. We definitely want to do something.
But yeah, well, she really likes you guys, and she's like, I'm gonna drink with them one day. I'm like, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we'll do it.
They don't need much of an excuse, really. I mean, you know. We're not working today.
It's Wednesday, are we?
Exactly.
Why not? We're down.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I just feel like the Thunderbird is, I don't know, like I said, Native Americans, I just don't feel like they had any interest in impressing anybody by, look, there's this bird thing.
Yeah.
It's like...
They wouldn't make it up.
You know, they dealt with it. It was there. It was just something they dealt with. Okay, I hate to do it, but let's take a couple minutes for a word from our sponsors.
That's true. So,
What'd she say?
She said they also had a whole lot of peyote.
They did, but
So
peyote.
maybe it was just a little canary.
Well, see, the thing is that the Native Americans didn't use peyote like we do.
Yeah, when they have glasses at the time.
So you're done.
But, like, you have anything in front of your face, and it's just like, and you're like, oh, what the fuck? But you're also on peyote.
But
have you ever seen it?
You know what you'd be like, request a cloud. Yes, the pterodactyl.
But see, okay, but the thing is they didn't use peyote like we use alcohol or we use, marijuana. For them, it was a religious thing.
That shit for their Wednesday therapy sessions. Everybody in that village was fucking taking peyote at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock every Wednesday. Yes, they did, sir. Yes, they did.
See,
this was not a one-off. This was village-wide. Like, they're doing it. They're in it.
but see, for them, it was a religious experience, and they...
But then I'm lost. So high. Yeah, you're still high. So,
okay, yeah, but a moth is not getting in your sweat lodge, is the point. They're taking these...
Like, that's all it takes. That you're super effed up, and there's a thing as big as your whole face flapping.
Like, to put this into perspective, listen. I have a story.
Yeah.
I have a story. I remember one time, me and you were at a fucking party. And this goddamn moth got in we were in a trailer because, it's 90s and we did, whatever the hell we did in trailers with black lights everywhere. That's what we did. So, you don't remember? This fucking moth came in. But it was one of those moths that's like 8 feet wide. It's like one of those crazy moths. You thought it was a bird. And you had a fit because she is terrified of birds. She thought it was a bird and she was flipping out. She's like, there's a bird in here. And everybody's like, none of us have seen a bird. You need to calm down. And then it's like this moth came and it was like fluttering. Like, not even flying, just like kind of drifting or whatever. And it got like right in front of you, and you were sitting on the ground.
I once saw a Luna moth terrorize a room full of drunks.
So what?
A Luna moth?
It was a big old moth.
Now, yeah, okay. A lunar moth is kind of this greenish yellow, and they're kind of big. They're kind of rare too. You don't see them.
It was like white and like gross color. Like,
but they're also kind of reflective when they get in light, so that they look a little freaky. But I mean, you can go and look up lunar moth on your phone, and you'll go, oh yeah, that thing. But they look a little freaky.
The story is that we were high on things we should not have been high on, and Kelly thought that this thing was a whole different species, because she thought it was a bird. So, absolutely, the Indians on their peyote trips on every Wednesday could have been doing the same thing. I don't remember that at all. How do you not remember that? Because I feel like it was very traumatizing for you. Maybe I blocked it out. I mean, isn't that the sort of thing that you block out?
In the most basic terms, the same road that leads to heaven also can lead to hell. It's circular. That nice moth. Oh, it's awesome. Peyote. Oh, what the fuck? Bird. Where's the bird? What bird? There's no bird.
Okay, but here's the thing: you're talking about recreational drugs. For the Native Americans, peyote was not recreational.
It wasn't recreational, but it still made them trip. So they did it for spiritual reasons, but they still had the same fucking effect. I could sit right next to fucking dances with fucking peyote over here, and we are having the same experience. He's writing about it in his diary later, like he's doing some mankind thing or whatever and making shit better. But we're still tripping the same, son. His brain isn't wired to trip different.
It's not wired to trip different, but it's a difference between you're approaching it from a sense of this is going to be fun. A Native American is approaching it from the sense of I'm going to learn information I need. So when the giant moth attacks their face, they're not going, oh, it's a crazy thing, attacked my face, help. They're like, what am I supposed to learn from this experience? And then they come back out as the flying buffalo the next day because they think it's speaking to them about the name they're supposed to wear into battle, and they are flying buffalo from then on. It's the same trip. I get that, but they're trying to get through it. They're swimming through it, whereas we are like, oh, that's uncomfortable. I don't want that harshing my mellow. And it's a fundamental way we approach it differently. Yeah, it's the same trip, but you're there, party. They're there. Ooh, what am I going to learn?
Bring your tablet here.
And when you approach things from that point of view, it does mitigate some of the damage. I'm just saying. If you were brought up in a society where that was a thing, you'd be told, you're going to see some weird stuff. But guess what? You need to know it. So embrace it. But it's also why when we started selling them the firewater that it killed them, because they weren't used to recreational drug use in any form. And so to have it sort of messed them all up, because to them, being high was a sacred state. Well, it was. They were speaking with God, and they assumed God talked in a different language, and that language would sound to us like being high, which I don't know that they're wrong.
Hell, I might be wrong.
So I got to do it. Let's take a word for our sponsors. Give me, 30 seconds of silence or something.
Oh, you're good.
Good enough. All right, so let's move on to now this is my actual favorite cryptid in South Carolina, and that is the Third Eye Man at the University of South Carolina. Oh my God.
I had never heard of this either. I looked it up and started reading, but then I stopped because I want you to be the one to tell me about it.
Okay, well, it begins with years ago in the University of South Carolina, there used to be these underground tunnels. They called them the catacombs. And you would use them to get from one class to another because apparently South Carolina has some cold winters or whatever. And so if you can go places underground and not like get rained on, snowed on, whatever, it's better. Well,
So, that was the first thing. Like, I do not think that South Carolina is the place that this sort of shit would have been built. Absolutely not. They don't give a fuck about us. They tell us we have to go to school when it's cold. They don't care about us. Well, but we don't have cold weather and everything. Like, and this would be in Columbia, that's even less cold than right here. So they would not need to build like tunnels and shit. Unless they built it for weird science shit and then just told everybody that it's for weather. Yeah. But nobody would believe that it's for weather. That's what I'm saying. Like, it is, right? Okay.
so here we are, 1947. Some college kids are drinking, because that's a thing. And they see this guy climb out of the sewers, which is linked to their catacombs, and he's dressed all in silver. When he turns around, he's got this third eye on his head, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're freaky." And they run away. Which, to be fair, if I saw a guy with an eye in the middle of his head, I would probably run away too. And they tell the police, and the police go and look, and they can't find him. And so at first, it's just this urban legend that starts going around the University of South Carolina campus is, don't go into the catacombs, there's a third eye man. Well, a few years later, guys are downstairs in the catacombs drinking, and they get attacked by this guy in the same silvery outfit the third eye man was wearing. And a few of them did report he had the third eye in the center of his head. So after that, the campus was like, fine, nobody's going in these tunnels, they're off limits. To this day, students still go in those tunnels, and all you got to do is go on Reddit because people talk about how they drink down there. And they still see him. But the thing that strikes me, as much as I love this, because I want this to be true more than any other cryptid in South Carolina, this is awesome to me. But the problem is he's only ever been seen by people who are drinking, drunk, or high. That's not a good track record for eyewitnesses. Or at least that I'm aware of. And you can't count the sightings